Good afternoon, everybody. It's Auston Holleman. I am here in Bangkok, Thailand, one of my favorite cities here in Asia. Sitting at the cigar lounge by myself, and if you guys know that when you start smoking cigars, I smoke them because they make you think a lot deeper, and they're beneficial to, I think, to your mental health. At least that's what I think. But I started thinking, and it's a nice quiet environment, so I decided to make this video about 5 life-changing things that I've experienced. It's now been exactly 12 months and I believe 1 or 2 days I've been living out of the States. So the number one thing that I learned from living abroad is that you can go broke a lot faster outside the United States than you ever would have inside the United States. Why do I say that? Number one is because when you move, more than likely, most people, we move and we lower our cost of living. So for example, I had a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in a good part of the city in Nairobi. It was $630 a month. When I was in Brazil, I stayed right next to the beach with a maid. Bills included $500 a month. And now you have what you call excessive income. So if you're making like $5 grand a month, you now have a shitload of money to spend because everything is even cheaper. The food is cheaper. The water bill is like $3 a month in these places. So now, and this is what I did, I said, wow, I have all these thousands of dollars I can spend every single month, and the bills that I have, that's nothing. That wouldn't even be my rent back home for me to live. It's like a third. My rent is 3 times. My rent in Dallas was 3 times the amount of what it costed me to have my basic standard of living in Brazil or Nairobi, meaning my rent, my transportation, and my groceries if I grocery shop, but I don't. And speaking more on that, I stopped grocery shopping and I started eating out 3 times a day. Instantly your food bill goes, and you're not, most of us are not gonna go eat off the street 3 times a day when you see how much excessive income you have. So now you're gonna spend at least $30 to $50 a day at restaurants before drinks or after drinks. It depends on where you're going. And now your food bill is $600, $700 a month, which is what my grocery bill was in the States, which is what I was trying to get away from as far as spending on food. Your transportation. Oh, the Uber's only 50 cents to go here. Oh, it's only $1 to go here. It's only $3. It's only $7 to go 15, 20-minute rides. Now, you would think that, but over time it adds up. Now you're spending $300, $400 a month on Ubers. Then dates are a lot cheaper. So now the $200, $150 date that you'd be spending somewhere in Dallas is now $20, $30. So now you want to go on several dates with several different women. You want to go on 2-3 dates per day. It all adds up after a certain amount of time. And like I said, now I'm at the cigar lounge, a habit I never had in the States. I have a lot of excessive income, so now I want to spend $10 to $50 a day on cigars. After so long, you'll notice, shit, I'm spending a little under, or just for me in my case, a little under or just about the same amount I was spending in the States. Because I've had certain months when I first started moving, when I was living in Brazil, where I was like, wow, my bills are like evening out. You know, I'm zeroing out every month. Because I lived in Asia for 4 months, and I was able to save a lot of money. Got to Nairobi, did the exact same thing I did. And I only do this shit in places where there's a lot of women, so you can put 2 and 2 together on why I do that. Because I'm outside more. In Asia, I wasn't really dating. You guys can go watch my videos. I wasn't dating too many women in Asia. But I got back to Nairobi, got a taste of that, went right back to spending a bunch of money. And then so I started looking at how much money I was spending, and I'm like, wow, if I was in Asia, I could have saved this much money, but it's not worth your happiness. But you have to learn how to budget yourself, and I'm just now learning this too. You have to learn how to budget yourself to prevent yourself from having to go back or being in a terrible position where most of these countries don't have any opportunity. You go get a basic degree, you won't get a job. So you will run out. When you go broke outside of the United States, you're fucked. Like there's no local opportunity. You're gonna either have to go back or you're gonna have to sit down somewhere and get your shit together. That's the best way I could put it. Number 2, and a lot of you guys may notice if you've been following me since at least January, You have to be wary of what you say around people and what you post online. For example, here in Thailand, you cannot, the freedom of speech does not exist the same way it does in the United States. So if you want to get online and talk about the royal family or talk about anybody in the government, and this is in Vietnam, this is in Cambodia, this is for sure in China, you will go to jail. You will go to jail. Luckily, I'm not stupid enough to do that anyway. I don't talk about the governments anyway. But in my situation, I talked about people, and I didn't think I was doing it in a way that it offend people, but it ended up resulting me, and Americans didn't see a problem with it. We're American. But to the Brazilian people, they seen a issue with it, and a failure for a politician caught on to what I was saying online about Brazilian women. And I was on CNN, Global. I was on like 5 different major news networks in Brazil, and I went viral in Brazil to the point where it felt unsafe. I will go back because legally there's no issues. It's just more of a on the street problem. People may notice you like, hey, you're the guy that says so and so. For the most part, most people don't care. But freedom of speech does not exist, and it's not like the United States where you can say anything you want, do any. In the United States, we can pretty much do whatever we want. That's not so much worldwide. And even if you see the locals in these, like I know in Nairobi, well in Kenya, they talk about their president in a way. Don't contribute to that. Let them do that by themselves. You are still an outsider. I don't care if you're black and you're in a black country. Do not talk about sensitive topics from about a place in a place that you're not from. Number 3, and I already knew this, but some people don't know this. A lot of Americans don't know this. The United States has a very fair working system compared to other countries when it comes to corruption, systematic oppression, and job opportunity. So like I just said earlier, if you go broke in these places, you will live like a local. You will be fucked. There's nobody coming to save you. Corruption is extremely deep in a lot. Like in Thailand, I've heard of it. In all of Africa, it's pretty much a thing. In all of South America, it's pretty corrupt. And if there's an issue, you usually can't hide. Somebody can pay the police to come get you. I've been extorted by the police. I know many Americans that have been extorted by the police. It may happen in the States, but don't bullshit me. It doesn't happen to the degree that it would happen in South America or that it would happen in Africa. The corruption is extremely strong, and you can either benefit from that or it can affect you negatively. You have to decide which position you're going to be in, but not telling you, but you can always use it to your advantage. There's ways to use it to your advantage. And another thing, like I said, systematic oppression. So for example, in Brazil, if anybody has been to Brazil, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, if you Google Brazilian people, you see white Brazilians that pop up. Almost 60% of Brazilians have brown skin or consider themselves black. But online, you only see white Brazilians. When you get there and you turn on the TV, you try to watch a Brazilian movie, the chances of you seeing a black Brazilian is pretty much slim to none. They're not on TV. I've only seen maybe one on the news the entire time. Even when there's murders, I don't really even see them post the black people that die. It's always white Brazilians that die. And I know for a fact in Salvador and in Rio that black Brazilians died and could have been put on the news, but they weren't. Look up how many black people are in the federal government of Brazil. Last time I checked, it was none. And the last woman that was there, she ended up getting assassinated. So when we want to compare the issues, that's why I only complain about the culture in the United States, like the whole gay thing they got going on, and the modern women and all the high call. I complain about stuff like that. But I do not complain about, you've never heard me complain about systematic oppression. The United States is going to be the best place for a black person to come up. Don't even try to go to Brazil and think that the local Brazilians had the same opportunity you had, or that the people in Kenya had the same opportunity you had, because they don't. That's why they want to go there. They don't want to go there for a peace of mind. They want to go there for the opportunity that you had, and maybe the military security and all that other kind of stuff. Number 4, when you leave the United States, you are no longer viewed, and this is really big whenever I went to Africa, you are no longer viewed as a black American. You are now viewed as an American, meaning that people do not judge you based off of race as strongly as they do in the United States. Number 5, and this is one that I experience a lot in Africa. Most foreigners that approach you are usually coming around you because they know that you are an American, you have money, you have opportunity. They can pretend to be your friend and hang out with you, and they might actually be your friend, but they have an ulterior motive altogether. They're not hanging out with you because you're cool. And it's not all of them, but you will notice there is a large amount of them that either want, when it comes to men and women, the men want to use you to find a way to come up because they know you can help them, and the women want to have a baby with you, or they want to milk your ass dry in some sort of way, whether if that's just free drinks, whether that's a place to stay, whether they want a green card, in some sort of way. There's a lot of women in a lot of these countries that are only coming to you because of opportunity. They are opportunists. You guys have seen them on my channel. They're stupid. They're opportunists. I remember I had a friend in Tanzania. We hung out a lot, but the entire time, he showed me around, great tour guide, but the entire time, at the end of the road when it was time for me to leave the country, and he realized that I could not help him with a vehicle, the energy switch, when I was like, oh no, I can't do that. Then he sends me a text, I wish you the best of luck. All because I was not giving into his opportunity to get his own vehicle. I mean, I've been on dates with women in Nairobi, and they've told me on the date that they want 2 American children because they'll be naturalized citizens and they'll be able to get passports for those children, meaning that they'll be able to be basically like a future savings account, a retirement plan, I should say, for that person. Now, you cannot, this doesn't mean that you can have these people around, because everybody, the same way they're using you, you can use them to learn about their country and how to navigate and benefit in their country. But you need to be able to recognize these people and deal with for who they are. You can't change them. Take them for who they are. But something else I wanted to touch on too that I forgot to bring up, which was about what you post online and people don't view it the same way. I experienced this not only in Brazil but in Africa too. The Africans are very, very sensitive and very nationalistic or patriotic about their countries. I went viral in countries for saying that there was nothing to do when they know goddamn well there's a country that just got Escalades 3 years ago, and I went to their country and I said, hey, it was boring, there wasn't much to do, and they're extremely offended and telling me not to come back. In the United States, if we said, hey, Mississippi was boring, there's nothing to do, we all know that. Nobody would really be outraged about that. But remember, you are a foreigner, and people do not look at you as one of them, no matter what they say. You are an outsider. Let me know what you guys think about that. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, get a video like, leave a comment on what you thought. Become a member if you have not already. And if you enjoyed that content, you want to support more content, the Cash App is below. I'll see you guys next time.